Right, there we go. That's weird. Hey, let me check my profile here. Oh no, wait, hold on. All I gotta do is go here. Okay, this is right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, so I just have in here clean up the input designator. There's some code in here that was like not super clean. So we just want to clean this up. So let's look at input designator and see what I was talking about. Okay, I kind of remember. So two things. I have this, I have a wrap backwards. I have a wrap forwards. Maybe I could rewrite this to just be a single wrap method. Let me see if there is one. Wrap number range GD script. Just see if there's like a math, function. Look at this. Wrap I and wrap F are built-in GD script functions used to wrap integer and floating point numbers within a specified range, respectively. Wraps an integer value so that it stays within the range of min, max. If the value goes below min, it wraps to the top of the range. If it exceeds max, it wraps to the bottom. So that's actually a very cool thing to learn. That's actually very cool. So wrap backwards and wrap forwards, I can get rid of, and I can change this to wrap I. So how do we use this? Wrap I. Dude, this is fucking sick. This is sick. This is a really cool utility function. Like, this is so useful. Infinite loop between 5 and 9. Okay, so value and min max. So wrap I value. Zero device count. Wrap backwards, wrap I. Zero device count. I think I forgot to put a comma down there too. No, I didn't. Okay. That is super cool. And now we can delete wrap forwards if that's right. We can replace this with wrap I. Oh, just press there. Oh, F2 accidentally changed tabs. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Friggin' A, bruh. Okay. Oh. Sorry. You guys were looking at nothing for a very long time. So this, to pull it up here, we have wrap I. This is how it works. Give it a value, a minimum, and a maximum. Okay, so input designator. Let's see next. No errors. Cool. Just to make sure. Oh, so that doesn't work either. Oops. Well, whatever. Yeah. What's the... ah. Display error. No errors. Yeah, whatever. Fine. Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to fix. Okay. Let's test that out real quick. This controller's still on. Uh-oh, it doesn't work. Oh. Maybe did this not do what I thought it did? Wait, hold on, wrap backwards. Let me look at my original function. Because now I'm thinking about, okay, that's why. So I have to do the math. This one, yeah, no, I gotta change the numbers. That makes more sense. Okay. Sick. Nice. So that's a cool find. Let's put that in our notes. Um, oops. That's very cool. I also want to take a quick look. It's probably something like that in Swift too. To wrap a number within a half open range, use a custom extension on floating point. There is nothing. That's crazy. Is that what range is for? A half open interval from a lower bound up to, but not including the upper bound. Doesn't look like there's anything ready for it. Additive arithmetic. That's not what I want. 5.0 wrapped within 3 to 5. Example 20 wraps to 4. Upper bound minus lower bound. Self minus lower bound truncating remainder. What the heck is breadth? Oh. Let's pick a random other language just to see. This is kind of what I expected. Value minus minimum. Mod range plus range. Mod range plus min. Well, is what it is. We'll look into the Swift way of doing this later. Because right now we're just focused on cleaning up. Remove custom wrap functions in favor of built-in wrap I. That's very cool. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing is there's a lot of duplication between left and right actions here. I think the only difference here is the +1 versus the -1. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go like this. Make a new function, wrap input. Device ID. I think that's all I need. So we can immediately remove this, and then we can put wrap input Device ID. What's wrong with that? Oh. And give it a direction. Which there is an enum. I'm pretty sure that we can use. Not action. We'll Google this one, or we'll search, do a web search. GD scripts direction enum. I thought there was a built-in. Oh, Godot does not have a built-in direction enum. Okay. Thought it did. Maybe did I declare one somewhere? I did not. That's even weirder. I would have thought I would have had that somewhere. Let's also double check enum. I think we can give them numbers. We can. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, wrap direction. And we're going to use that. What doesn't it like? Oh, handler event. Oh, right. Oh, that's funny. That was another thing I could have cleaned up. I was using handler event when I didn't need it. Wait, left? Previous. Previous? I call it previous, but really next. Again, where I didn't need that. And then this gets chunked down to wrap input. That should remove a huge chunk of code here. Let's test it out. Sick. Sick. Abstracts input wrapping to its own function to prevent code duplication. Right? That's good. All right, now these functions become mega tiny, which is great. This might be all the cleanup I need to do in here for now. Let's take a look at, see if anything here is unused. Keyboard is unused. It looks like, what is it? Input designer keyboard. I don't think it's used. My headset just died. Let's fix that real quick. Doom, 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 doom. I think this is pretty good now. I think that's pretty good. Let's just make sure everything's still working. Cool. Oh, that's crazy. I'm faster than my arrows. Maybe I should make the arrows a little faster. To like match the speed. Whoops. All right, does that make sense? Okay. Pretty sure that's unused. I think that was being used in the wrong way. So that's decent. Place with a constant. Well, are there any to-dos in here? Just this. I don't think it needs a constant. Yeah, it doesn't need a constant. 2 is a number. It would literally be like constant 2 players. Input devices.size is 2 players. Weird. As a constant doesn't make sense. If I made it a function, I think we could argue maybe I could make a function like is 2 players or something. And then have that logic in there. Or whatever. So I think that's good. Let's go to my notes. And let's say abstract, left and right menu button functions. All right, and then we can put this into daily done. This moves over to the week. Oh, so I did still get a bunch of stuff done this week. This is really good, actually. Kanban's so useful. Okay, add input designator option to pause menu. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Which disconnecting controller leads input designator to get stuck. These two things are probably related. So let's test this out and see what happens real quick. My guess is if I go here, we do something like this. All right, now we've got a keyboard player, a gamepad player, and then if I just like, oh, I'm gonna disconnect this. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that on. Oh, that's funny. So this gets stuck. Right? So what should actually happen here? So first off, why is it stuck? Second, why is it showing? And third is what should we do? Player count is 2 because we set the player count to 2. It says input devices counts 2. That's not true though. Time is it? Time to get a watch. Is this not updating? Transmitting? No, we're good. Okay. Okay. Let's go here. I'm going to describe the problem to AI and have a conversation with AI to try to run through some different possible strategies, and we're going to do some Google search and see what we can do here. Like maybe we should have a remove player button. But let's like talk it out and figure out how to do the flow here. Alright, like what input would even control this right now? Right, and then it's kind of weird, like what if player 2 wants to continue without player 1? This is why the whole situation gets weird. Input designator allows the player to assign an input to a player number. What should happen when controller is disconnected in a multiplayer game? It's a critical state change. If the game keeps running, the player whose controller died is essentially a sitting duck, which feels unfair and frustrating. Here is the industry standard workflow for handling. Okay, this sounds like bullshit. Tailored for Godot-based indie project. Immediate pause protocol. Yeah, well, that's true. Oh, that's interesting. The moment an input joy connection change signal is received and the connected parameter is false, the game should force a pause. It protects the disconnected player from enemies and prevents players from having to babysit a frozen character. The UI. Pop up your input designator screen immediately. Dim the background and show a clear message. Player 2 disconnected. Reconnect to continue. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like force them to reconnect the controller. And then if they want to remove a player, that could be like a separate thing. Character persistence versus removal. In a dungeon crawl, you have two choices for what happens in the physical character screen. Option A, the frozen ghost, recommended. The character stays in the world but becomes invulnerable. Oh, interesting. And transparent. Pros are that when the controller is reconnected, the player is exactly where they left off. Cons is that if they never come back, they might be blocking a narrow hallway. Option B, despawn. The character disappears and drops their inventory or gold. Keeps both players active. Rejoining becomes a hassle, and it can feel punishing if it was a dead battery. Yeah. Since you're already using a signal bus and input manager, you can handle this globally without putting logic in every enemy or door. Oh yeah, true. I guess so what I can do is I can have the disconnection signal handled on the player also. Sup, mister? What's good, Japan? Trying to bounce off some ideas and figure out how my game should react to the number of inputs suddenly decreasing. My mustache looks so weird on the camera right now. I've got like a patch of extremely red hairs right here, and they're sticking out like a sore thumb. Anyways, we're not here to talk about cosmetics and multicolored facial hair. The cosmetics behind the cosmetic effect of multicolored facial hair. So when there's two players, right, and we disconnect one of the controllers, we end up on this screen. We're kind of stuck here until I connect the screen again. And then the other problem, of course, is that this screen doesn't come back to where it came from. This is a separate bug, which we should put in here as a separate bug. Let me go to my notes. Input designator always returns to main menu. That's actually a bug. What's the game about? I haven't seen it yet. Oh, maybe last time when you came in we were doing, I think we were doing leak code, weren't we? Also, this cord is mega tangled. Let me just disconnect that, put that back in. Right? I think that's what we were doing last time. Okay, so I'll show you. So this is a top-down 2D dungeon crawler. It's super basic. This was my first game in Godot. This is my first game in Godot. I'm trying to polish it up for release to get some initial feedback on the game. And here we go. Let me start the game from a clean state. Okay, so the first thing that comes up, and this probably also needs a little bit of explaining in terms of the UX. I need to do a little bit better here in saying what's going on. Change controllers. Okay, so basically we have multiple inputs connected. We have a gamepad and a keyboard, and we can assign players like this. I think this part probably isn't super confusing. Basically, you can split the keyboard to its own player, and the keyboard can be player 1 or player 2, or we could have both of them act as player 1, and then we're in a single player game. But the game looks kind of like this. I'll throw on the music to give you the full experience. I don't know if the music's coming in. Can you hear it? I don't. That's what I thought. Give me a sec here. I see. There we go. You hear it now, right? Yes. I think this button's broken. Let me test this real quick. Oh, that makes sense. It's not connected. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Happens sometimes. My sound situation's a bit confusing. Okay. So you've got a couple different classes you can pick from here. Very basic pixel art. It's practice for a lot of different things here for me. Learning how to use the game engine, making my own artwork. But yeah, here we are. So there's different classes, and then you can pick different colors for your character. I'm gonna pick Reap. The Reaper's probably one of the stronger and faster characters to play through the game, like in terms of his movement speed. And that's what it looks like walking around here. We've got like a top-down mazy type situation. try to open the door, we need a key. Grab a key, grab some treasure chest. The flickering in between is the loading screen is pretty quick. And there's like some like breakable walls here, which is kind of cool. Sneak in here. I should put a level in somewhere that requires you to use a breakable wall to like increase the discovery of that so people can find it easier. This is basically the gist of it. We'll do like a quick speed run to kind of finish out the rest of the game. We have a lot of keys here. Let's skip that room since I don't really need it. Over here, I guess this room kind of teaches you what that is. It doesn't force you to go that way, but see it. Oh, this one does. Yeah, this level does. Oh, okay, cool. So I guess I already had one. It's a very basic and easy game right now. So in terms of like the mechanics and the gameplay loop, I definitely do need to do a little bit more to make it more interesting. But that's the game right now. It obviously needs way more levels and probably more assets and things. But the idea was to just have a first version of the game. You go to the results screen here. Oh, why is my button not working? Oh. Weird. Is the game frozen or crashed? That's not good. That's a new problem that I didn't have before. Oh, that's weird. I'll have to look into that. No errors though. Actually, I think the game is just frozen is what happened here. Levels are different scenes or some generation? They're different scenes. And the game just froze is what happened. I gotta look into that though. So for the levels, I'm using a third-party tool. I'm using LDTK. So a lot of this too was actually probably a big chunk of this was spent on trying to figure out how to use LDTK in the Godot game engine. So there's an importer. LDTK is a really good tool. It's very fast and efficient to work with, which is why I like it so much. I do want to do some stuff with generation maybe at some point in the future, right? To add a little bit more, to make the levels a little bit more interesting. But for now, I'm kind of working just with this. This has been really fun to work with as a tool and just very quick to work with. And you can have like different worlds. So there's like the next world that I've been working on. It's not in the game yet, technically. And very cool. You know, you can do a lot of stuff with this. So for example, it has auto tiling, right? So a lot of it was like figuring out how to do auto tiling, make the assets. If I go here, I can just create a new level, plop that down, and then I can go to my, where is it? Here's my basic wall. Oh, because I'm on the wrong layer. Go to my collisions layer, and you can just kind of drag out like this, and it'll put the right pieces in. And another cool thing that you can do is you can like shift click, and it will fill the area, and then you can right click to remove tiles, to erase, kind of like this. And it just makes the whole level design aspect very quick and kind of fun. And then you can do, you can create what they call entities, which is like game objects in the map editor. So I have like a breakable wall. I can put a breakable wall here. That'll spawn a breakable wall. I can put in colliders. So if I want to, for example, go to my collisions layer, let's say I clear out this left side, right? But I don't want people to be able to walk off the screen. I created a collider entity that I can just drag out here, move it outside the level, and then that'll prevent people from, you know, whoopsie daisy. I think I can duplicate this somehow. Oh, maybe shift in. I don't remember the buttons on whatever. I'll just make a new one. I don't remember the PC buttons for it. And these are all things that you define here. So if I go to entities, you can declare like what they basically what they look like, if it's resizable or not. And that's all this does. And then I have like pickups. So I have my pickups on the same layer. I can put my keys down. I can put food down. Treasure chests. Right? And then a player spawn, and then I can drop a player exit and over here somewhere. Maybe it's a little bit less interesting. Right? And then in addition to this, you can do, I have like a touch-ups layer. So anything I need to put custom, I can draw custom tiles to override things. And it's very cool tool that you can work with. I have a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to use LDTK. So if you're interested, you can, I'll drop the YouTube channel here. I'm also live streaming on the YouTube channel right now. I'm doing both at the same time. But if you're interested, that's the link. So I have some video series on how to work with the map editor itself, and then I did a tutorial on pulling the maps into Unity, and there's another tutorial pulling the maps into Godot game engine. I think is done. I have to double check. I actually been slacking on my social media things. I need to put some more time into videos. Also, if you have any ideas for videos, let me know. Obviously, you know, still kind of getting started out with game development. I'm not like a mega pro here or anything just yet, but a lot of this stuff that I do in my videos is also very educational for me. That's kind of one way that I learn, which is really cool. So yeah, if you have any, if there's anything that you want to learn how to do or any ideas for videos or anything kind of content that you'd like to see as a like an on-demand thing, I can upload some, create and upload some YouTube videos kind of diving into some topics. I think, yeah, I thought I had a form somewhere for it, but I don't, maybe I don't. I should create a form that people can request stuff that they want to see. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going through here, trying to clean up some bugs. And the current bug that I'm working on, we can delete this level. It does look kind of neat though, but I'll just delete it for now. And we can quit this program because I'm not really using it. One of the bugs that I'm trying to fix right now is in the case that you come in and you've got, let's go here, I'm gonna mute the music. You come in and now we're in a 2-player game. I've got my keyboard and my gamepad. Oops, let's make them different colors. Right, if I disconnect my gamepad, now we only have 1 player, right? Our second player is gone. That's also a bug. That should still show player 2. Interesting. Yeah, that is very weird. So 2 things. One is you can hear me attacking in the background. And I don't think that the game is actually paused. So I'm trying to figure out what do I do in this situation when a controller gets disconnected. So obviously I do want to pause the game. This screen shows up automatically. Ooh, that's weird. And we come back here, which is another bug. But there's layers of bugs here to uncover. It is a kind of an exceptional behavior, but it is a very, I think, reasonable exception that we'll encounter quite often. So I was spinning off ideas from, with AI, trying to figure out like, hey, what are some ways we can approach this problem? Because I had the idea of, say like, hey, the controller was disconnected, reconnect it, which was like the first idea that it came back. Then I had a couple other ideas, which is interesting. Immediately pause the game, which is good. And then it's like you have to decide between keeping the character in or removing the character. And then the problem with keeping the character in the game is that keeping the character in the game will cause, could cause, progress to be blocked, basically. The other problem is that if the player is, when you disconnect the controller, game displays players menu with only 1 player, right? Well, it should show, that's a bug too. It should be showing 2 players, but it should only show 1 input. I don't know why it was only showing 1. It actually seems to be the bug with this. So there's a bunch of bugs on this screen, basically. It should always show 2 columns, just like it shows here. I think the bug, so I think if I put keyboard on player 2 and gamepad on player 1, and then we disconnect my controller, I think it'll show 2. Yes, because player 2 is assigned. But if we do the opposite, and I have gamepad on player 2 and keyboard on player 1, and I disconnect, I think that's when player 1 only shows. Yeah. So that's a separate bug. But it should show 2 columns like this, even though it only shows 1 input. So maybe what it should do is, instead of showing that input, okay, because one thing I was going to do, let me do this first, because I think this makes more sense. I think the first thing that should happen is that we should show the pause screen. Right? Pause the game and show the pause screen. And then on the pause screen, we can let the players open that screen manually. Like, or have something in between, right? Maybe have a separate screen that says controller disconnected, and then maybe that's actually the best thing. And then have an option that says like remove player, or the other option says, open input designator, right? Open, assign inputs or whatever. But I'm still going to have this bug right now in the flow. Usually it's one of the first screens that shows. So we, the flow of the app that we have right now is that it assumes it's the first screen, so it always shows the main menu after you close that screen. But I think what we want to do is we want to make it so that it doesn't always do that. So I think what I'm going to work on first is, rather than work on this bug that is always returning to the main menu, wait, that's not the one. Instead of focusing on the disconnect button, let's go here and add input designator option to the pause menu, and then we can tackle this bug to give it a screen, right, to go to. Or not a screen, but give it an action to run, I think is the better way to describe that. And then if I pass like a random action, and not a random, an arbitrary callback, I pass in a callable, I can make it do whatever I want when the screen is dismissed, right? Or give it like an on dismiss. Right, the other way I could do it is, instead of passing in something, I could set it up as a signal, and I could have a dismissed signal that gets emitted. And then when we fire that signal, different screens can listen to it. But the problem with different screens listening to the same signal is that when we fire that signal, all subscribers to that signal will fire, and we don't want that. So probably passing a callback is probably the most reasonable way of doing that, because we're only going to show that screen. Oh, but I think the screen, I don't know. It needs some planning, but I think the quickest thing, the best thing to do is to work on adding this to the pause menu first. And then I think the other problems will be easier to clean up in that order. So in order to do that, I've got to go to, oh, here's my pause menus in here. Pause menu. Resume options. I think actually options can probably go closer to the bottom, because I think if people are going to look for options, they'll scan all the items until they find it. But having other things before options, even though it might be a more common option, just to make people read the other options. Because if people see options first, in other words, I'm thinking they might go into the options menu looking for the option to change the number of players. On the other hand, if I put that in the options menu, that means that I can have that screen show from the main menu also without adding another menu. So actually, that's not a bad idea, maybe. So let's open up options menu. Oh, the screen's kind of tight already, though. Sound. I'd have to do something major here to add an extra button. Oh, I'm so tired already. Not good. And try to give it like another hour. Is that good? Wait, hold on. It's Friday. An hour from now would be 3 p.m. I want to work out at maybe 4 p.m. Well, if I eat at 3, I can work out at 5, I guess. I'd still rather do it at 4. Maybe I could do, if I do 3:30, maybe I could work out at 4:30. I might have to work out later. Definitely gonna have to eat first because I'm getting tired though. Okay, so anyways, we'll give it at least another 30 minutes on the stream before I jump off. So what should I do? Should I add the button here, or should I add the button I guess let's see what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it's going to be tight. Yeah, it's pretty tight. If I go here and I'm like, reassign players. I don't know how to say that. Controller settings. Or change players. Maybe I'll just do it anyways. I know it's not great, but maybe I'll shove it in here anyways. And then we can maybe make these buttons smaller or figure out some other way to reclaim space. Like maybe the space in here we can reduce a little bit. You can make it all with tabs. Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought about that too. Like sound, since it's its own thing, could be in a tab. I'm just trying to think of kind of low-hanging fruit for now. I think I'll throw it in here for now, even though it's ugly. And then like the next progression of this will be the tab container or something like that. Just throwing it in here right now to get functionality in. Change players button. And then we can go to the script. Change players button. And now I had the screen showing anytime the inputs changed using signals. But maybe I should not use the signals to change the players and make it more manual. This way people can hit like start game and then it will manually show that screen. Like it'll still use the signals to update the number of inputs, but without showing any UI. Because right now when you attach a new controller or you remove one, it'll show that UI. And that's probably too, what's the word I'm looking for? Shocking, too janky of an experience. Jerking, there's a word I'm looking for. Gives you like weird whiplash of what am I looking at, right? So maybe that's a solution for that. So, but for now, let's just work on getting this in. We're going to make a series of very, very small changes. Kind of do this like in an agile way, even though I have no reason to. But I try to keep my changes, my code changes as small as possible when I make changes. So we're going to go to options menu. Right? Yeah, and we have change players button. And we got back button. Back button, change players button, dot press, dot connect, on change players pressed. And so what are we going to do here? We got to show that screen somehow. So how do we even show that screen to begin with? I think that's how. Yes, menu.switch input designator. So if I make this manual, I might be able to clean up some of this code and character selection. Now it's just menu dot switch input designator. But I also have to, oh no, the game's already paused in this state. Oh, right. I was one step away from getting it in the right spot. Should do my shoulders are bugging me. Ugh. I need to do some exercises real quick for my shoulders. Actually, yeah, I guess this is for external rotation partly, and partly for my maybe traps and neck muscles. I'm not even counting here, which is bad. I'm gonna guess that's 8. It's probably more or less 8. 9. 10. I should find some identical exercises. Yeah, so that one is one of the exercises. I think it's supposed to help your traps a bit and your shoulder rotation, right? Because when you're trying to take my shirt off here so you can actually see my arm. When you're on the computer, right? Your shoulder, this is trying to help my case, but it's like not really, still not really easy to see. I'll turn sideways. When you're on the computer, right? Your shoulders rotated this way, right? Because your hands are on the mouse or on the keyboard. That's internal rotation. And it what happens is that causes rounded shoulders. When you sit like this all day long, your shoulders get stuck in this position, and so you end up like this a little bit, and your back kind of pushes forward, gives you a little bit of that like humpback posture. So what you need to do like on a daily basis pretty much if you want to prevent that and you're on your computer all the time is you got to externally rotate that shoulder, and you need to build up that muscle, right, in your shoulder to do the external rotation to keep your arms in a neutral position. So you kind of, because you're like this all day long, your muscles get weaker, they get kind of stuck. So you want to be pulling out to fix that. So with this resistance band, I think that's one of the exercises that helps with this. You kind of place your arms over your head, and the key here is that your thumbs are sticking out. So when I twist like this, twisting like this also, I believe, slightly, yeah, that also slightly externally rotates your shoulder. So, and then you kind of pull down, and you pull back like this. You go back up. And it's not like It's not like a terrible amount of resistance. I don't know. Does it say on here? Theraband. But it does not say the amount of resistance on this particular band. You don't want like a super difficult one. Like this one isn't really that hard to pull. It's very low resistance, but that's the idea. These are like physical therapy tier exercises. They're not like, you're not going to go for like PRs with this kind of stuff. It's just more more to like help condition you. And there's a couple other ones. You can do face pulls are really good, right? So you get like, you can do it also with resistance bands. You can throw the resistance bands in the doorway and you grab two ends. And then for that, you kind of want your thumbs pointing back at you. Again, because that rotation is gonna, when you pull back on your shoulder here, it's also gonna give you external rotation as you pull like this, and you're gonna do kind of a similar thing in the doorway. So you can look up face pulls. A lot of people do them wrong on YouTube though, so you got to be careful. The key thing with the face pulls is you need to be able to get your arms, I don't want to say as far apart as possible, but you want your arms to be, sorry, let me get my camera here. You don't want your arms to be close together. You want them to be like shoulder width apart when you come back. So that way you're not like limiting your range of motion. Because a lot of people use those attachments that have the two ropes on them, and they only go about this far apart. So when you're pulling, it's like you're not really getting the full range of motion. You need to be able to get your shoulders back like this, not like stuck in here, right? You see how the difference between my shoulders? I realize I'm kind of tiny in the corner there, but you can use your imagination a bit. Okay, so menu.switch input designator. So here's a course idea for your channel. How to work on computers without destroying your body 101. It's actually not a bad idea. What is this icon? Is this a stadium? A UFO? A bowlless salad? I can't tell. It's really tiny on my screen. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna switch the sub menu. A frog. Oh, I see it. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you. So we switched the sub menu. So maybe something that, actually good idea here, maybe for menu, since this is how we show these things. I bet I'm not doing this now. This is probably too big of a change to do this right now. But this will come in the next thing, which is like getting to the right previous screen. Menu.switch. This switch function. Oh, this is wacky. Oh, I guess because I wanted to go through the same interface for everything. And then switch menu. Yeah. Switch menu. So what I should probably do here is I should probably maintain like a stack of menus. Or at the very least, no, it's got to be a stack, I think. A stack of menus. And that should be fine because I have enums for each menu thing, each sub menu, and each menu. Oh, I see. These are scenes, and then the sub menus. Okay, but when we push screens on, or when we switch menus, right? We're passing in a sub menu. Yes. So I can have a stack of sub menus, and then we can have like a back function on the menu that automatically will know how to like pop off and go to the previous menu. Close menu, on options back. You see like on options back. So this is how I did it here. where like each thing emits its own back, and then it like delegates to the menu to figure out where to go back to. It works, but if I just have a menu back function and I maintain the state in here with a stack, there's some trade-offs. We have to do state management, which is, you know, inevitable sometimes, but also yucky. This is a little bit more clear. When options back is pressed, we do main menu. When something else back is pressed, we go to whatever. But it also doesn't help us when it's dynamic, which is what we're going to end up with. But okay, let's just test this out. I'm going to put them on different devices. And we're going to pause. Go into options. Oh. Oh. There's a bug here. Options menu. The reason that happens is because we didn't add it in here. Change players button. I created my own abstraction for menu lists, which I don't know if it's really needed, but that's how I did it. Leave me alone. Okay, so now player one's a controller. Let's pause the game. Oh, my pause key's not working. What? That's another bug. I gotta figure out why that doesn't work. Let's go add that real quick. Controller or gamepad. Pause button not working. And that's for player one. Oh, that should be a bug. Right, any case. Okay, so we go here. Right, and then I should be able to... Oops. Should be able to swap them. Yeah, it gets buggy because we're not going back to where we were. But that is player 2 now, and this is player 1 now. Cool. And let's do another test case. We can go here. Go to options, change players. Cool, it works. You know, arguably, maybe it shouldn't be in there. Maybe it should just happen when you hit start game. That way it's not hidden behind a menu. Oh. This button is the menu button. That's not right. I found out why it's not working. And for some reason, only the keyboard works on this menu. So maybe it shouldn't be on this menu. Maybe it shouldn't be in options. Right, because if we look at the main menu, you see what I'm saying? Oops. If I have it in the options menu here, yes, we get it for free in 2 places. But getting it for free in 2 places doesn't really help us because who's going to go to the options menu to do that? We should just have it when you hit start game, it happens automatically. And so it doesn't even need to be here. Right? The other thing I could do is on the pause menu, we could have player options or players, resume players. And when you click on players, it'll take you there for now. And then eventually pressing the players button will bring you to a players submenu where you can remove players, or that screen itself will allow you to remove players. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so let's do that. So we're gonna get rid of this. Let's do this. So we're gonna commit it first, just so I know I have something that works. Feature. Oops. All right, now that it's there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna delete it. We're gonna move it out of here. I'm gonna put it in here as its own button here. That's also a bit crowded because there's a lot of buttons here now. Something else I could do is I could take feedback, which is not really a permanent option, and maybe throw it to the side somewhere and have like a separate button that you can press that will automatically hit that for you. Oh, but I think that's fine for now. Also, what we could do with this is hold up. Yeah, and just do that. Save some space. And then on here, players button. Pause menu. Players pressed, and then so it's gone from there. It starts the music over again. Which I don't know why that happens. What about decreasing options? Hold on, it sounds annoying. What about decreasing options and controls width and place them in one row between resume and feedback? Oh, wait, I see what you're saying. You mean options and controls, putting them on the same line? Yeah, I could do that. Like reparent to a... What's it? HBox container. like that. And then obviously adjust the sizes here. I'm gonna put it back to the way it was. I'm gonna solve this problem later. Right now I just want the button to be there and functional. Not a bad idea though. Oh. Sometimes I do design first and sometimes I do functionality first. Why is this not null instance? Oh. I hate when that happens. Oh, I found a cool new method today that I didn't know existed. Why can't I can't check these anymore. My gamepad's not working anymore for some reason on this. Oh, because it's player 2. Maybe is why. I don't know. So if I open this and I go to players, should be able to switch them. Oops. I mean, it does work, even though the rest of the flow is buggy. Let's go like that. That's good for now. So much unchecked in stuff here. This is like clogging up my history for no reason. Move. Change players button to pause menu. And then what I'm going to do here is we're going to go here. Okay. Pause button not working. I know why that's not working now. I'm going to come back to that later. Always returns to main menu. This is a bug. I'm trying to think how I want to fix this. Right, because none. Oh, interesting. Do I use that? Yes. Sick. Okay, it's already in there. I thought that might be weird, but that's fine. So what we're gonna do is input designator. We use this on character selection. Needs input remap. So I don't know what this is for. Oh, this was wacky as shit. Yes. Yes. How do we pause the game? Actually, don't even remember how this gets shown. Pause gameplay. I think I just emit the signal. Oh, right. Pause. Signal bus dot pause. I think I just do signal bus dot pause dot emit. Instead of doing this. Is game ready? But we don't want to do it when the game is ready. We want to do it when the game has already started. Because this will just trigger the pause menu when we come up here. Oh, it didn't. Oh, right, but we don't have any inputs assigned, so it's not going to do anything. Is that what's the problem? God damn. See, this is what I hate. Every time I try to playtest my game, the input is always being sent to this window for some reason. Every time I hit run. Before that, it doesn't work though. But that's fine. That's fine because pause is not subscribed yet. So this is fine, actually. And then I think what we can do is we'll change the flow, right, to main menu and start game button. On start game button pressed, and instead of switching to character selection, we'll switch to hold on. Let's take a look again. An input designator. Yeah, main menu. What's the event called here? This just happens when all players are ready. So I don't just want to track the state. I need to, because it's not going back. Maybe. Okay. 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 So what we can do, switch, right, on back pressed. Oh, that's interesting. I pass a function for on back press, but what I can also do is set next screen. On back pressed. Oh, okay, 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 hold on. That is what I do. So from designator, how do we do this? So hold on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that on back pressed. And where do I use it here? Switch menu on back press, menu node dot back dot connect. So there's a signal in here called back. Ah. I see. So my input designator would have a back. Should have a back. I think is what that means. And then what we do is here on back pressed. How do I make a... I forget how it works. I think I can just go like this. I don't remember if the lambda syntax is different. Oh. On indent doesn't match the previous level? Wow. Okay. Let's see if that works. Oh. And finish. Instead of calling switch menu here, sorry. Instead of calling switch menu here, we need to call back. Oh, what the frig file did I put that in? I meant to put it here. I'm pretty sure. And then wherever I show this, we got to do the same thing. Pause menu. Menu dot switch. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. How do we get back? Close menu. Shows the game. It's not quite what we want. But we don't want to show any of those either. Let's just put something for now, and then we'll see. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right. So we start game. We set up our players. I just typed something over here. Let me go fix that. Nice. Pause the game. Go to players. switch them. Oh. Doesn't work. All right. Well, I'll come back to this and fix this later. I have to cook food, eat it, and then exercise. Actually, probably can't exercise that quickly after I eat. So I'll probably cook food and eat it. And maybe we'll be back after. I might be online with games tonight, playing some games. Okay, okay. Thank you for tuning in, Japan. Sorry it was very short. I'm trying to kind of fix my schedule a bit. My sleep schedule's been a bit weird the last few days, which is fine. Some stuff happened that I had to take care of. Yeah. But I'll be back later either with entertaining video games or more